Darlin, and I'm your host of the Patience Darlin Show. And that's exactly what you're watching right now. So this is your first show, and I'm really glad you could join me because, this is my first show too. And that makes it our first show together. And that's really special. So I'm really glad you're here, and I hope you're going to have as much fun as I am certainly having. Okay, well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, so I wasn't this stranger coming into your living room. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I know, I don't look like a cowgirl, but I have had experiences with cattle. Anyway, I moved around a lot after that, but now I'm in LA and I love it. We have our share of problems out here, but we have some major fun too, don't we, kids? Yeah, okay. Well, let me tell you about the show. The show is going to be, a whole potpourri of things. We're going to have guests and talking, and I'm going to try to keep you informed, on today's issues like fashion and, what's going on in the city and shopping and, getting through the holidays. Oh, and nails. Like what color to wear them these days, girls? I have no idea. Well, anyway, let's get started. And let me introduce my first guest. He's an artist, and he's a sculptor, balloon sculptor. So, let me introduce to you Paul Mendoza. Is that right, Paul?
That's right,
Paul.
Paul.
Thanks for being on the show, Paul. And
thanks for having me.
It's very nice to have you. So let me think. What's the first question? How did you get started sculpting balloons? I guess that would be the first one.
Well, actually, it was a happenstance. What happened was I graduated from college a few years back. I was an anthropology major. I minored in art, and I went to El Salvador for some field work. And I happened to be in the hospital. I received some injuries. I was harassed by some El Salvadorian police, and they broke all the fingers in my hands. So as I was in the hospital, I was sort of on rehabilitation, so to speak, and there was an entertainer who happened to visit all the patients in the hospital, and he happened to know balloonery, or air sculpture, as we in the business like to call it. Mm-hmm. And anyway, it was something that really amazed me and fascinated me, so I learned it after I exited the hospital, and it just really helped me mentally, physically, and psychologically. It just really became a really big part of my life. And as you can see, in terms of the rehabilitation, all the movement in my hands has returned to normal, but I can move my fingers much more better now. So anyone who maybe is looking into physical therapy, balloon sculpting is probably a very good thing to get into.
Wow. Well, that's quite a story, Paul. So balloons, yeah, who would have ever guessed? So from there, you like you say, you just got into it and started making balloons. And so what types of things do you make with the balloons? Like, just for example.
It ranges from the simplest of the basic dog to as far out as maybe The Last Supper. I did that one time when I was...
The Last Supper?
The Last Supper.
You mean The Last Supper?
There's only one Last Supper, patients.
Okay, we just wanted to make sure everyone knew.
Sure.
Out of balloons?
Out of balloons, right. That is correct. Yeah, that it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. And it can go as abstract as that, but basically just about anything.
Okay. And what's the longest amount of time it ever took you to make something? Would that have been something as complex as The Last Supper?
Well, The Last Supper took me a month.
A month?
Yeah. Well, a lot of mistakes, a lot of patience. And again, what I had to do is I had to have a customized refrigeration device made, which took a lot of my own money to preserve The Last Supper, so to speak, because those of you people who aren't very familiar with balloonery, balloons can be preserved in a cold temperature. So in order to preserve the balloons for a month, I needed to put them in a homemade, customized refrigeration walk-in device.
Sounds like a very cool experience. So what is the shortest amount of time what's the fastest you could possibly make a balloon if you had to make a balloon really quick?
Oh my goodness, it depends on what you wanted, what you needed for whatever type of occasion. I guess the basic dog could probably be 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Sure.
Okay, well, Can you do that for us? I don't want to put you on the spot. I mean, if you're nervous with this,
not at all, no.
let's do the quickest, fastest dog we can do. 15 seconds,
Dog,
and
sure.
and we can even time them. Matter of fact, what
What?
time?
Sure.
Is that all right?
I guess, is this national television? I don't want
Well, that's lots of people will see you. You don't worry about that.
Sure.
So,
All right.
okay.
to. Okay, whenever. You tell
Or
me.
do you start with? Okay, okay. He's gonna start right now. Okay, so we're gonna time him, and
I
we
can
got to
blow it
mark.
up now if you'd like. I mean, this is your show. I don't want to.
No. That's fine. We'll go from there. Lonnie, can you mark time? Lonnie, okay, take time first. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, usually when I get into this, there's a little meditation, but I don't want to waste any time.
Okay.
Like I said, this is a metaphysical type of thing as well as
Okay.
physical. But anyone can do this. You don't have to have very much experience.
Okay.
You do need to be a little limber though, so I didn't exercise my fingers as I usually do, but
Yeah, you feel pretty limp. Okay, good.
now do you want what type of dog? Cocker Spaniel, Saint
The
Bernard?
quickest dog you can crank out. That's
Quick.
what we want to see. The quickest dog.
Quick dog. Okay.
Quick dog.
I usually do this. I recite a little poetry beforehand, but we don't have much time.
Yeah, no, we just want the dog.
Okay.
The dog. That's what we're
Okay,
gonna-
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
We're ready.
I'm ready to. Had a little extra time.
I noticed that. We have a mark, Lonnie mark of time. I think you had a world record there. I think we had 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay, maybe 15. You baited the time there. We saw
Yeah.
that because you
Well,
just to do that little thing
sure.
with the tail. That's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's our first dog.
Yeah.
This is the quickest dog we have in the world, and a mark time 10 seconds. That's wonderful, Paul. Okay, so let's make something else, and this time we won't just time it. Let's just make something that's close to your heart for us. What do you have next that we can do?
Let's see, close to my heart. Well,
Orange. Orange is my favorite color.
Oh,
So make something for me.
oh, make something for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. What can we make? How about this? Now, some people are a little annoyed by the noise.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me a bit. It actually coincides with the meditative part of this activity. But this is a great hobby for kids. If you have children at home, something that they would be interested in, as well as old people.
But they should have training, right? I don't know. Should they try this at home? Or should they be
Well,
trained
it
first?
took it took me to do this. For instance, this dog here, it took me 6 months to learn.
Wow.
It's a very intensive thing, as you can see. But I tell you, everyone has their own ability and their own level. Usually I like to do this with music playing in the background. Sometimes the Doors, the Grateful Dead. Actually, the other day I was listening to a little bit of Harry Connick Jr. Sort of got me into it.
I could sing for him, but I don't think he wants to hear that.
Now, as you can see,
This is quite a thing, whatever it is.
Hold on a second. Now, let's see. This is. You have to wait till the finished product. Yeah, plug your ears.
Oh, wow.
Okay, now my niece particularly enjoys this. This is a teddy bear, and it's not.
Oh, a teddy bear.
Yeah. It's,
Oh. Can everyone see that? You have a shot of that? Okay, there's our teddy bear. This is wonderful, Paul. This is just wonderful. And is this his mouth?
yes,
Mr. Teddy Bear?
that's his nose. Right.
Hi, Mr. Teddy Bear. That's wonderful. Okay, well, thank you very much,
Oh,
Paul.
you're welcome.
Okay,
It's my pleasure.
that's teddy bear. Okay, what else do we have? One more, maybe one more. We have
one
what
more.
time for one more?
One more.
One more. Can you do what? Can you do two with two different colors? I mean, we're just having such a good time. I hate this stuff. Can you do can you interweave two different balloons? Do you do that? I mean, you talked about the last intricate piece that you did, so these
Sure.
were pretty just one balloon things. Can you do just maybe two balloon thing with two colors and interweave them? Have you experimented with that?
Sure, I could do that if you like. That it takes a little time, but if you're willing to do.
Oh yeah, we have time.
Oh, you have
For
plenty
you,
of time.
Paul, we have time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, well, if you don't mind, I prepared a piece already.
Oh, you brought a piece
Sure.
already out. Okay, well
Yeah.
that would save time. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Let's see here. I prepared this especially for you. I was in a little bit of I don't know if you would say a melancholy state at the time, but I was half meditative state, half, well, you know what I mean.
What do you call it? Can I hold it?
Be very careful with it.
What do you have a name for it? Have you named this
Yes,
piece?
this is man's relation to woman. As you can see,
I've been in relationships like this before, let me tell you, kids. You don't want to get involved in it. Yes, I understand.
So,
Especially this piece here. Totally. Okay, well this is wonderful. So, how long did it take you to do that?
I'm sorry, but this piece really aesthetically isn't involved in the piece itself. The average person looking at this wouldn't look at this. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
We understand.
So just look at it again and then.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I see the difference.
You see
I
it,
see
yeah.
the difference. Okay.
Okay. So I thought so.
I'm not an artist by nature, so kids, bear with me. And I'm glad you're helping me because I want to appreciate
Sure.
the arts. It's
Neither
something I've
was
been
I.
working on.
You know, believe it or not, I wasn't going to be an artist. I was actually going to be a business major. And I
Business
actually-
major.
Yes.
I've heard that's common, so anyway.
Of course. Yeah.
Um,
Well, my father's a lawyer.
Mm. Okay, well this is really nice. And, I think we're going to do an experiment. We're going to have an experiment. Do you have time? Paul's going to stay with us for the show. I'm just going to tell him he's going to stay with us. He's going to be with us for the whole show. How about an experiment? I'm going to challenge you, Paul. Let's see how many balloons you can possibly make by the end of the show. Could you do that?
Sure.
Like an experiment of
Sure.
sorts.
Sure.
Okay, so you'll stay on the show,
Okay.
and Paul will keep turning out the balloons, and we'll check in with him as we move along the show. We'll see how many balloons, and we'll look at all the different types he comes up with and everything else. Okay?
Sure.
I think that's all the time we have now for kids. Excuse me. That's all the time we have now. Is that right? Okay. And so that's it. So Paul, thank you so much for being on the show. It's wonderful to have you here with me. And so stay with us, and we'll be right back after this. This is Patience, and this is Paul. So stay with us.
Men are back. And we know what they want. Achilles' shoes. There is nothing like an Achilles heel.
And we're back. So thanks for staying with us. And that was exciting, wasn't it? I really enjoyed that, and I hope you enjoyed it. So my next guest is going to tell us or show us a way to learn more about ourselves. And I think we probably all would like to do that. But this is through a little unusual method. using rocks or stones. Actually, they're runes. So, welcome my next guest, April Shelby. Hi, April.
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to be here.
And how are you?
Very well.
And I have to say, you look dynamite today.
Oh, well,
It's,
thank you. So do you, dear.
Thank you very much. Okay, so what are runes?
Runes, well,
Runes.
they're in Oracle. That is to say, they're a type of divination. They're from Norway. The Vikings brought them to us many thousands of years before Christianity. And they're equivalent to the European tarot cards in that you lay them down and you read them.
So when did you first get started using the runes?
About 10 years ago.
10 years ago. And so, and how do you learn to use them? Is there...
There are books on the subject, and any good library should have something.
Is it something initially that maybe was it passed down, or maybe at one point in time, where
Yes.
someone showed someone else
Yes,
specifically?
the runes were very much things that were passed down from generation to generation, from oracle to oracle.
And what types of things do they show you, or can they tell you about future things that might happen, or past, or what types of information do
They
you
usually
get from
touch on a little bit of both. They usually start, in terms of a reading, they start with the place you are at the present, or the immediate, just past. And they go from there, and they extend into the future. And they aren't telling you what you should do, which is one of the things I dislike about the tarot, because the tarot tends to tell you what to do. The runes rather suggest what may happen and the best outcome you can hope to achieve if you work through right action. Right action is a very big principle behind the runes. Okay. Right.
So do you think the runes are tapping in like to something maybe even in our mind that's controlling the overall process, or is it more part of the destiny theory that we're in some type of big plan? Or
I don't know. I personally think that destiny counts for only so much. I think that there is a point where man makes his destiny. I mean, let's face it, some people were born to be secretaries and typists, and that's all they can ever aspire to be. But for those of us who achieve greater things, sometimes where it's laid out that we're going to fail over and over before we finally succeed. You know. So destiny counts only so far as your own strength to change it. I honestly believe that.
So that's like executive secretaries for all you wondering what the higher plane is.
No.
Anyway, so how does it work?
How does it work?
Show us how. Let's just do it.
Alright.
We're just gonna cast the runes here.
All right.
And just
I'm gonna give you
bear
a
all. Okay,
good
just-
casting. Now, what you have to do, patients.
The runes are in the bag.
The runes are in the
The
bag.
runes are in the bag.
The runes are in the
Okay.
bag. You have to take the bag, address an issue that you'd like to know about in your mind, clear your mind of everything else, and really address the issue as an issue, not a question. Because you're not.
Here's a question. Okay. I'm clearing my mind, just so you know. Okay.
Okay. Beautiful. Now.
That was exciting.
This is the tricky part.
Okay. Keep your eye on the runes. Don't miss it.
One. You never pick out a rune. The runes always pick themselves. The right one will just sort of find its way into your hand.
You can tell this is serious stuff here. So, how many runes are in the bag?
25.
25 runes. And how many are we going to pick?
3.
3 runes out
This
of
is
25.
called Odin's rune.
Odin's rune.
Odin's rune is a 3-rune spread, basically. And they're read from right to left, because that's how Norse writing was read originally.
And this is my future now.
This is, your starting position is here. Oh,
Uh-oh.
this is
I'm
your
in trouble now,
starting
kids.
point. This is you now. This is where you are, or what you just immediately passed through. Oh my. This is what you are going to pass through. This is your best expected outcome. And I know this rune very well because it's my personal rune. This whole spread is very interesting
Okay.
because all of it speaks of some large thing that's about to happen in your life. Okay? You're probably going to come to a point where you have to choose between some things or something in your life that you may be very attached to, that may work for the person you were, but not the person you're going to become. Okay? You're definitely going to go through something where you will have to decide. It will be an important decision. And what this last rune is telling you, both of these speak of motion and very great change and the disruption that comes from change. This is telling you before you make that final change to stop, contemplate before you make that dive, and then either go into it or not. This may not be the right time for this huge thing that's coming up in your life, but it may be. The only person who will know that certainly is yourself. So that's what this whole spread has been about. It's a very important, very insightful spread.
So how does this relate to the thought process or the focus I had on before that? How does that tie into that?
Oh, you mean where you were before, or when you concentrated on
you
it?
had me hold the runes in the bag initially. What's that?
Basically, what was going on there is that you were infusing the issue you wanted to address into the runes, into my psyche, into yours. That's why, unlike a lot of oracles or people who call themselves oracles, I never ask what it is you want to address. That way, there's no question of me manipulating the thing to go the way you might like it to go. The runes oftentimes tell people things they don't want to hear. Okay? And a lot of times, if it's a friend, you might be tempted to manipulate it if you know what it is they want to hear, even on an unconscious level. So you hold the bag, that puts the issue into them, and not so much into me. You know.
I had a feeling that we were on the same psyche. I just kind of had that. Maybe it was the hats. I'm not sure, but we were together anyway. Well, can I tell them what my question?
Yes, now you can. Now
okay.
It's okay.
There again, I don't know how Scott's gonna like this, but the main thought mine was how I was gonna love, where my love was gonna go, and what changes were gonna happen in love with my life. So
that's interesting.
That's it, and we have to go. I'm sorry, so I thank you very much.
No problem.
For being on the show, and that's it for now. So stay with us, and we'll be right back. And this is Patience, and I'll be Patience probably when you get back. So stay tuned. Even here I am. We're checking with Paul. Oh my God! Look at all these balloons, kids. Can you believe this? Paul, how many balloons do you think we have?
I'd say we have about 400.
These are wonderful. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
These balloons are wonderful, aren't they? Look, we have dogs and birds. What else do we have here, Paul? What else have you made?
We have dogs. We have giraffes. There's a swans. We have some. I have some aborigines.
This is good. So what are we going to do with all these balloons, Paul? Now we've done the experiment. The experiment I think is passed. I think it's been a most successful experiment, don't you, Paul?
Yes.
I mean, look at all these balloons. So what are we going to do with them? I mean, we have balloons.
Patience. What I've done before in the past is I've taken these balloons down and I've distributed them among the homeless. So what I think I will do now is I think I'm going to go down to one of the nearby parks and distribute them for earthquake relief.
Earthquake relief. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Okay, so we're going to help them all out. So stay with us, and these balloons will.
Earthquake relief.
Will be here. I'm going to read a poem for you right now. The moon has left behind a smile. And it was sent in from Anita Teresa LaFon, and I thank her for sending it in. So this is it. The moon has left behind a smile to gaze upon us for a while. The stars are twinkling with delight. Let's kiss and hold each other tight. Old night's wind's heaving on a sigh, but he's telling stories about you and I. The stars are winking from above. Let's show them all that we're in love. Mommy said, sweet child, don't dream of love underneath the full moon dressed in style. If you want approval from above, wait until the moon begins to smile. The moon is left behind a smile to gaze upon us for a while. The stars are teasing with delight. Let's kiss hold each other tight. But this is Patience, and we're back, and we have Paul. We've brought him back out, and Paul has convinced me to try to make my own balloon. Okay, do we have it? So this is my first one. She's here. Whoops, sorry, Paul. Okay, so this is it. What do you think? This is my first balloon. Wow, you're right. It was easier than I thought, Paul. And this is Tom, and Tom's with us. What do you think? Patience did pretty good. I didn't think I'd be able to do that well. And you can shake hands with Tom if you want, Paul. And this is.
You're not mocking me, are you, Patience?
No. You're right. This is really so. So that's it. I think we're out of time. And Paul, I really do want to thank you for. Watch out, he's out of control. I want to thank you for coming on the show. It's very much nice to have you here. And well, he is. We better lose him. Okay. So that's it. So this is the show, and we'll be right back, or something. Smile, Paul.